English phrases to sound like a native. As far as I know. When you plan something well, there's no need to rush. It's going to take as long as it's going to take. I'm sure there's a reasonable and rational explanation for that. Financial advice off me costs 500 quid an hour. My knowledge about is not particularly good. It's a balance, isn't it? I suppose you could say, easier said than done. Well, roughly speaking, I would say that. You've given me food for thought. Every invention meant nothing, until it meant something. I would go into any battle with you. There's plenty more where that came from. I'm hoping for a sudden brainwave. It's really not the end of the world. We had some conflicting advice. I couldn't recommend this more highly. Facing failure is important. But equally, I believe that. In all honesty, I don't have a complete answer to this conundrum. I'll take what I can get. You're right. All the same, not a bad result. You don't need to rush a good thing. I must have got the wrong end of the stick. That makes me feel like something of a dinosaur. I shouldn't complain. I've got a house, a job. That just makes me want to be better. I know that you very strongly feel that. Thank me later. What we need to acknowledge is the fact that I wish you the best of luck with that. From an economic point of view, it's a no-brainer. It's been a good decision, hasn't it? That restored my faith in humanity. Fake it until you make it. I believe that would be pretty frowned upon, as I understand. Lost time is never found again. Wonder is the beginning of wisdom. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be sparked. It's all gone a bit sour. It's easier said than done. By all means, don't let me stop you. Every relationship has its ups and downs. Have you made up your mind yet? Not yet. I've got a toss-up between option A and option B. Any news? Nothing to write home about. I'm what is referred to as a keeper. That is unfathomable. This is how we did it in the old days. You see, everything is much older than we think, and everything old happens again. Act in haste. Repent at leisure. Don't raise your voice. Improve your argument. To remain neutral is to choose the side of the oppressor. Would you like some? I'd rather pass. You don't know what you're missing. Do you know what happened? No, but I can hazard a guess. Well, it's all a matter of perspective. That's fair enough. All the same, not a bad result. I'll take what I can get. You're right. This is what it's come to. I don't want to dwell too much on that. I'm sure there's a reasonable and rational explanation for that. That seems like the bare minimum to me. It doesn't sound like a very sensitive thing to say. Well, that can be arranged. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. The more you sweat in training, the less you'll bleed on the battlefield. Repetition is the mother of skill. You take delight in vexing me. You do not know what I suffer. Very well, if it must be, so it must. The distance is nothing when one has a motive. That's more down my street. I guess it's progress, isn't it? Life is trying things to see if they work. Regret for wasted time is more wasted time. Could you give me a rough ETA? I need to prepare. I don't rate my own advice very highly. Well, first things first. Any port in a storm. Can't you just allow me my little castle in the air? I've always valued work-life balance over salary. Whether we are prepared to admit this or not is another question. That's not a very auspicious start, is it? Are you sure you don't want some coffee? A little bit of sugar is a great mood enhancer. I'd welcome some advice. Maybe it's a lesson we can all learn together. Sleep is a great healer. Having something to look forward to is tantamount to happiness. I hope it's worth the wait. It's a good starting point. That's a good thing in my book. Let's keep it in perspective, shall we? Perhaps we ought to stop focusing on what separates us and see how we can best combine our talents. Please, let me elaborate further. I really do value that. You need to diffuse the situation, not escalate it. I've had some experience working on this. Let me tell you what I learned. Let's cross that bridge when we get to it. Can I come back to that later? If you don't ask, you don't get. You make a valid point. I'd like to put another perspective on the table for discussion. What's life worth if you can't have some fun? Just little things, but they have value. Could we reassess the situation? This matter needs imperative attention. I'd rather get it all done while I'm fresh. I'm just trying to keep well out of the line of fire. I'm relieved to hear it. We thought long and hard about this. What's your insight about this? One thing I'd really like to get across is, you don't learn unless you question. I suppose when you put it like that. Early to bed, early to rise. The possibilities are endless. If it looks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it's generally a duck. I shall leave no stone left unturned. Thanks for watching and subscribing.